Is there a way to control the incontinence after surgery?
That's a great question. So is there a way to control leaking of urine after surgery, or if it develops after radiation for that matter? So there are pelvic floor physical therapists. So this is another intimate setting where you're up in stirrups and you're gonna do some things that you weren't expecting to do, but they may be able to help with strengthening of those pelvic floor muscles to have better control. In the event that a patient goes through that sort of physical therapy and it's not successful, there's actually a surgical procedure. It's called an artificial urinary sphincter, an AUS. And it's similar to the penile prosthesis. There's a pump and a valve, and there's basically a donut that's fluid filled that they surgically implant around the urethra, the urine tube that comes from bladder to the tip of the penis, and you can pump that up, it squeezes down on that tube to prevent leaking, you release it, and you're able to urinate. So there is a mechanism to do that. And the men who I've taken care of who've had that, makes a big difference.
I'm your man. And it does make a difference.
Yeah.
It truly does.
All right, we have a question here.
I just had a quick question, Doc. When you were laying out when you have all the options in front of you, and this is one of the things I had to do, and I want to, I guess, pass this on to everyone else. Because even though when we lay out all the different options, don't lose sight of the fact that Doc mentioned about your insurance carrier and what they're going to cover and all that. For men, take a deep dive in that, do your research, because in my situation, because it's exploratory, my insurance covered it. So, when you're weighing it all out, do a deep dive and get all the information that you can. Don't stop at one. Get everything that you can when you and your wife are sitting there trying to decide which way you're going to go, or your significant other.
Carriers are scrutinizing protons because they're more expensive on average. But Mike was absolutely right. You got to get down to what's your, and it's not so much the pure cost. Sticker shock and all these things is insane.
Right.
It's probably $100,000 for a conventional 9-week course of prostate radiation here locally, roughly speaking. That's the gross charge, right? The charge to you, in my opinion, is what matters. I think that we all don't want to expend excessively, but if protons were going to be $10,000 out of pocket and photons were going to be $9,000, you really thought protons was right for you, you got to decide if that's the difference as opposed to the gross charges. It's that what's my take-home cost going to be, my copay?
And then one last question, but Doc, for me, when this new treatment that you had, you're suggesting, and all the ones you laid out, there were some of the conversations was that if you do one, you can't do the other, or if you go down the road this way, like removal, that's totally out. You understand that? But then there's some kind of treatments that I was told that if you do the radiation pellets or whatever, then now you can't go back and do something else. So is that the same with this new process that you guys?
It's a fair question. So I'm going to summarize what Michael said. Many patients will come and say, if I have surgery, can I still have radiation later? Short answer is yes. Part of the argument for why they're considered equivalent is that we can salvage, we can still rescue a persistent PSA post-surgery with radiation. Can you have surgery after radiation? If you have radiation first, have you burned the bridge of having surgery? And the answer to that is it's complicated. Many times, no. I had a conversation with one of the great urologists, Dr. Whitmore, the other day, where he said there's actually some growing enthusiasm for salvage prostatectomy, for doing the surgery after radiation. It's more complicated because that tissue's had radiation to it. Sometimes we will use cryotherapy, which is not conventionally an upfront treatment, but will be used in the salvage setting. So I have a patient who had brachytherapy of radioactive seeds about 15 years ago. The PSA rose, and so cryotherapy was used to try to retreat the prostate itself. So heaven forbid you've had treatment and you're at a point where there's recurrence. The short answer is it depends. It's much easier to have radiation after surgery than it is surgery after radiation, but those upfront numbers aren't quite the same either. So the short version is talk to your doctor, because it does depend on that situation.
All right, we're gonna do one more question, and then we're gonna move on. It's getting late. So we have one more question.
Is it advisable to do the pelvic floor exercises or Kegels prior to surgery?
I don't know that this is a great question. I don't know if there's any data that said it would make a difference, but I think definitely being religious about them after surgery is not going to hurt and surely might help. Yeah, good question. Thank you.
All right, Doc, thank you very much. Real quick, before we got on moving, I just wanted to show you all this. I love to have my models up here, and Frank didn't know he was going to be a model, and you see what his shirt says, not all cancer is king. All right? Not all cancer, that's another one of our shirts. So, with that, we're gonna move right along. Thank you all for that. I appreciate it. We've been a little long-winded, but we still gonna get everybody in. If you have to go, I apologize, but we're gonna move on along. We have the Honorable Mayor of the City of New Bern that's gonna do a proclamation. This is how we do it. Ladies, I apologize up front, but this is like Montel Jordan said, this is how we do it. We're gonna share everything with you as it is. We're not gonna sugarcoat anything because there's some information that you all need to hear. Because it directly affects us, indirectly affects you. When you go home and say, wife, this is what's going on, she's gonna like, okay, yeah, whatever. But if she hear us say it, she gonna say, okay, it would make sense. So we're gonna have the Honorable Mayor to come to do the proclamation. September is Prostate Cancer Month.
Very serious subject, and welcome on behalf of the New Bern Board of Aldermen. And just to keep the meeting moving and such very interesting information being given to the public, I would like to concisely, succinctly say that this is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, this 16th day of 2021. Thank you.
All right, see that? All right, thank you there, Mayor. I appreciate it. That's what I'm talking about. All right, we're gonna move right along. We have an honorable individual here. I'm gonna call him honorable because he deserves it right now. His name is Quintus McDonald. He's a former NFL player for the Indianapolis Colts. He's an advocate for prostate cancer. He speaks from time to time, place to place, city to city, state to state on prostate cancer. And you all are in for a treat at this time. We're gonna ask to open the floor up for Mr. McDonald.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you all for coming out. I want to get started. If you all would, everybody, just please stand up. I want to raise the energy up in here a little bit. I need to shake it out. Shake it out, move it out, do something to get some flow going. Get some energy moving through this room. We've heard about and we know about the issues, what brought us here today. Prostate cancer, the C word, cancer and all its cousins. I love the fact that our servants put those two together, breast cancer and prostate cancer, because I'm wearing this shirt, Justice for My Jewel, one of our companies, speaks directly to how cancer gets into the woman's body through hygiene products. So cancer is cancer. We're specifically drilling down on prostate here today, but we know that we can eradicate all of the cousins that belong in the cancer group. So let's just shake it out. Shake it out a little bit, and then we're gonna take our seats, and I'm gonna do what the Lord has placed on my heart to do on this morning. When I was at, let me start. Said protocol, that's a big word. Let me start by thanking everyone. First of all, the group of people, you lovely people who came out to greet me on last night. Brother Bill, Miss Diane, Brother Rob, and of course Emilio for inviting me. Mr. Mayor and Taylor couldn't make it this morning? No. Okay, outstanding. Very good, very good. But I want to thank you all, especially the mayor, because he kidnapped me last night, y'all. And he's sitting right next to the sheriff. We had a wonderful time. He showed me, he took me around you all's wonderful town of New Bern, and I got an opportunity to see the heart of the man that you all, this elected official. I got a chance to look at the faces of people in the community when two white men get out of a car with a black man in an all-black community, and see the faces of these people in the community light up and say, hey, Dana, that's a beautiful thing. That showed me the heart of this man, so I know that this assignment that I'm on today is absolutely divine. It's a divine appointment with you all, certainly a divine appointment to meet the mayor on last night and spend time with him. But why am I here? And that's what I said to God. When Emilio called and asked me to come and speak, we started talking about prostate care and prostate cancer and early detection. And he called me. I said, sure, I'll come. And then it was to talk to my father. I said, well, what? Okay, Daddy, you know that I'm going to go. You told me to go when there's opportunity to go. Well, what am I going for? He said to be an encouragement, to be of encouragement. So on this morning, I'm here with you all as your brother to really, truly encourage everyone that's in this room. Prostate cancer has showed up in my family. My uncle passed, late detected, and he struggled for about 2 years. And what happens is the entire family, you all know this, I'm preaching to the choir, that the entire family struggles. When one individual is affected or infected with dis-ease, discomfort, dis-ease in the body, it affects the entire nucleus of the family. Especially when we're talking about the head of the family, the person who has been placed by God at the head of the family. There's dis-ease, there's disruption there. So I'm here to really, really encourage you all to fight on. I'm here to encourage you to move forward. I'm here to encourage you to live. If you have been diagnosed, you have opportunity. There's healing. There's healing. There's healing in this room. I'm going to get there if the Holy Ghost lets me. I'm trying to get to some things. I want you all to understand that because you've been diagnosed does not mean that your life is over. What happens is when we get diagnosed with something, let's say we take inventory of our lives. This man said there were so many things running through his mind. I've never been diagnosed with anything, but I've had my leg broken playing professional football, and I thought my ankle was dislocated, which had happened before, and I reached down to pop it back into place, and my leg felt like mush. So I said, okay, the bone is broken. I laid back and I unsnapped my helmet, and I started thinking about the process of what I was going to have to go through or get to go through to get back on the field. That's the inventory. We have an opportunity. You all have an opportunity to take inventory of your lives and then go and begin to heal different parts that were broken in the past. We have an opportunity to live right now. We don't know how much time we have left. I'm driving 2 hours when I leave here. My life could end today. But I'm saying that to put myself with you all who have been diagnosed and understand that you may be living on, it's not borrowed time, it's time that God has given you to do something with. Take inventory of your life and see how you can go and tweak some relationships that will benefit generations behind you, your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren. Is there something I can do with my brother? This man just told us that he didn't know that his brother was ill. Is there something I can do with my sister who our relationships have been strained for years because of a conversation that needs to happen? I'm convincing you, I'm here to tell you and offer it to you to live today. Live while you still have breath. Go and mend. There's healing in the room. Go and heal your relationships. Go and heal your relationships. There's healing in the room. Listen. My bishop, my spiritual father, 2019, PSA levels through the roof, we began to pray. We prayed this morning. I know that the word tells us that when two or three are gathered in his name, that he'd be in the midst. You understand that in the presence of God, there is no sickness. In the presence of God, there is no sickness. What activates is faith. When my bishop called me, well, we prayed before he went to have the biopsy, and he called me when he was able after the procedure, and he said, Elder, they say that 4 of those 12 pricks are cancerous. We We are created in the image and likeness of the one that created everything with his mouth. We have that power. We have that power to say no to cancer. All the records, all the medical stuff said 4. We began to pray corporately and individually. And when he went back to have the machine that puts you in that makes all the noise that I can't get in, MRI. He went into that MRI to look. I'm here to tell you, standing flat-footed, there's no sign of cancer in my vision.
Wow.
Then,
Amen.
and today, there's healing in the room. What activates healing is faith. How do you know that you're walking in faith? Because we take a step toward healing. We take a step. I know it might be difficult whenever all the signs say one thing. I know it may be difficult, but I'm just here to encourage you to speak life to yourself, to affirm life to yourself in the morning when you wake up, when God wakes us up. Because it's not the alarm clock, it's not your spouse. What happens if God calls your spouse home and you were used to your spouse waking you up? Who wakes you up then? It's the Father that wakes us up. When our eyes open, give thanks for another day. Speak to your situation. Speak life into your situation. Speak life into your family. Don't hide from the family. Family secrets create isms and schisms within the family, and those isms and schisms last for generation after generation, and they move us further and further away from the true nature of family, loving one another. I just want to encourage you all on today. There's healing in the room. There's healing in the room. If you believe, you can be healed, if it be God's will. But the fact of the matter is, there's healing in the room, an opportunity for us to heal our families. There's an opportunity for us to have conversations with our family members that have been needed to be had for decades. I don't know you folks, but I know that what God gave me is true. So I'm here to encourage you. I'm Quintus McDonald. I love you all. You're all my brothers and sisters. And nobody told you today they love you. I love you. And ain't nothing you can do about it.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. And I thank y'all for being patient. What we're gonna do real quick, and then we're gonna end it. I'm one of those people that I like to give you your flowers so you can smell and see them and show you that we appreciate you doing what you do, because you didn't have to do it. The first one we're gonna have, the mayor already spoke, so it's just gonna be a thank you and all this. This is gonna go to my brothers, and it says, in grateful recognition, Michael Taylor, of your support for Prostate Cancer Support Group, Media Day, Prostate Cancer Support Group, New Bern, North Carolina. And here's the lapel pin.
Can you get a photo of this?
That's the proof she can get it. All right, thank you.
I got you,
All
live.
right, we have Dr. Miller had to go, he had a patient that was waiting on him, so he had to leave. I did have one for him. At this time, we have our guest speaker, Mr. Quintus McDonald.
Yeah.
He asked about his lapel pin earlier. He was like, where's my lapel pin? Look, NFL player, I was like, okay, you get it. I stepped back when I said that. You work at the prison for 20 years, but I know how to do it, because I know how to get room first.
Listen, I was over there scrolling through my phone. This